My name is Sarah. I'm going to be your occupational therapist today. Can you tell me your name?
Nice to meet you, Sarah. My name's Jeanne.
Jeanne? Well, very nice to meet you. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and why you think occupational therapy would be good for you?
Sure. I have had MS for about 30 years now, and at first I used to have symptoms that came and went. Sometimes I could do my activities as I normally could before, but in the past 10 years it's gotten more progressive. The symptoms don't go away, and I've experienced more weakness and needed to make a little bit more accommodations because of it. But I really like to travel, and my husband and I like to be very social, and I like to be independent around the house, and those are just the kind of things I'd like to maintain as I get older and keep as long as possible.
Okay, so with occupational therapy, what we can do for that is we can work on those accommodations for you, kind of get you a little stronger and get you back to where you want to be. So as your MS progresses, we can make you more comfortable and be able to be a little more independent.
Great.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about certain items that you have or your home or things that make living with your progressive MS a little easier?
Well, the chair has been great. It gives me great mobility. I'm able to easily transfer in and out of it from bed and from the car. Certain little things like my lighted mirror when I do my makeup makes it much easier for me to see what I'm doing and just makes life a little more normal.
Okay, great. And with your car, do you drive the car? Or?
I do have a special seat that swings around so I can get out of my chair into my seat. And then I have a special knob on my steering wheel so that I can grip that as I turn the steering wheel. It makes it much easier.
Okay, great. And you say you and your husband like to go out, and you said you like to be social, or?
Yeah, we're very social. We love to go out and meet friends, get a bite of dinner and a drink. We love to travel and see the world and just get out and about.
All right, perfect. So I think today what we want to focus on for your first session, we're going to focus on doing some therapeutic exercises. So we're going to work on strengthening your upper body a little bit, maybe even your wrist and your hands, so it makes doing these tasks a little easier. And then we're also going to go over a few energy conservation techniques, so when you are in the home or out and about, it's a little easier for you to do certain things, even with dressing and just different things around the house. And then I kind of want to take a look at your bathroom and then a few things. I know you said you were looking at putting some adaptations in your home as well, so we'll take a look at your bathroom, but definitely want to focus on energy conservation techniques and even some safety things as well.
Great, sounds good.
All right, perfect. We're going to get started with some vitals. What we're going to do is we're going to take the jacket all the way off before we start your therapeutic exercises, because an important thing with MS is we want to keep your core temperature low, because if you get overheated, your condition could get exacerbated, so it could get progressively worse for you to do things. You might feel more fatigued and tired, so we want to keep your temperature down, so we'll have you take the jacket off.
That makes a lot of sense.
Perfect. Also, what I recommend too in your home, just keep it at a comfortable temperature to where you and your husband don't necessarily have to wear layers, but it's not too hot. Or if you do keep it cooler, do wear layers. So wear like a jacket or a button-up shirt or different layers that you can take off, so as you do get a little warm, you're able to remove the clothing items so you don't get overheated, okay?
We both like it a little warmer, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, perfect. And also we're going to turn this fan on too while we start your exercises, okay? Perfect, so we'll get this fan on. Okay, put your jacket over here. Over there. All right, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start with some therapeutic exercises with some weights. So I have a 1 pound weight right here, and then I have a 2 pound weight. So we're going to be doing these exercises today. What I want you to do is I want you to inhale when you're doing the exercise, hold for 2 seconds, and then exhale. So we're going to start with bicep curls with the 2 pound weight. I'm going to have you do it on each side individually. I'm not going to have you do them together in unison because I want you to conserve a little bit more energy, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 sets of 10. So 10, and then we'll switch off. So 10 and 10, we're going to do that 3 times each, okay? And then after you do each side of 10, we'll take a minute rest, okay?
Sounds good.
Alrighty, here is your 2 pound weight. Okay, Jeanne, we're going to switch to the other arm and do 10 on that side now. How are you feeling?
A little bit warm, but I think I'm doing okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'll have you do 10 on that side, and then let's take a 2-minute rest, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, Jean, we're gonna take a 2-minute rest here. How are you feeling with that 2-pound weight? Do you think that's a little too much, or do you want to try with the 1-pound weight to start?
It feels pretty good. It's enough to be challenging, but doesn't feel like too much.
Okay, and you don't feel too tired. We'll see how we feel after the 2-minute rest, and then we're gonna do 2 more sets on each side, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Jean, so the next exercise we're going to do is a row. So I was gonna actually ask you, do you have a broom or anything in your house we can use for this?
Yeah, I think there's a broom in that closet back there.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So for these rows, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you hold the broom just like this, and you're going to pull back. So we're going to do a backwards row. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something called a TheraBand on here to make it a little more difficult for you, okay? So you hold this broom for me. Bring out one of my TheraBands, and you can get a pack of these at like a Walmart or anything as well. And that's 10. How are you feeling?
I'm pretty good. I'm getting a little bit warm.
A little warm, okay. So we'll take a nice minute rest here, and then we'll do 2 more sets of 10, okay?
All right.
Okay, Jean, for this last exercise we're going to do for your upper body today, we're going to be taking the broom while you're seated, and I'm going to be having you do races for me, just like this. Just go up as high as you can, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, Jean, great. So what we're going to have you do, I'll have you take a minute rest, and like all the other exercises we've been doing today, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 10. So I'm going to have you do 2 more sets of 10 for me, and then I'm going to show you about the grip device I was telling you about, okay?
All right, great.
Okay, here you go. These are called Grip Masters. Now they come in different increments depending on the strength of the different gripper. So it'll go from lightest to heaviest. And what this is designed to do, you're gonna hold it in your hand like this and squeeze. So eventually when I have you do this, we're gonna do 3 sets of 20 on each side with minute breaks in between. What this is going to do, it's going to increase your finger, your wrist, and forearm strength and grip strength as well while doing this exercise, which will help you with everyday tasks when you're doing your makeup, bathing, getting breakfast. So this will help with your progressive MS so we can keep your strength in your wrists and your hands.
Great. I use my hands all the time, every day, so that's the thing I'm most concerned about.
All right, perfect. So I'm gonna bring these with me for my next session, and we're gonna start working on these, okay?
Great. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Okay, Jean, I wanna go over a few different pieces of adaptive equipment for you to kind of talk about things that might make doing things a little easier for you.
Jeanne was shown some adaptive silverware with thicker handles to make eating her meals easier. This adaptation will allow her to compensate for decreased hand strength and manual dexterity. Jeanne was also shown some adaptive tools for bathing, such as a long-handled sponge and a removable grab bar for the shower. The long-handled sponge would make it easier for Jeanne to perform her grooming tasks with moderate independence. Jeanne and her husband are going to be remodeling their bathroom to make it architecturally accessible, but the concept of a travel bag to carry her adaptive equipment was introduced. The removable grab bar could be a nice addition to her travel bag, just in case her hotel room isn't ADA compliant. Jeanne was introduced to some adaptive equipment to help her with dressing. One of these items was elastic shoelaces, but she expressed that she mainly wore slip-on shoes. To help Jeanne with her slip-on shoes, she was introduced to a sock aid as well as a long-handled shoehorn to avoid bending and exerting too much strength to don and doff her shoes and socks. Jeanne was also shown some adaptive equipment that could help her in applying her makeup. Jeanne expressed that she usually just uses drugstore makeup items. She was shown makeup brushes that had a wider handle, making it easier to grip when applying her makeup. Another alternative is to buy adaptive handles to put on her brushes that she already owns. In addition, she was shown some handle modifications to add to her mascara. One handle has a loop, one has a wider grip, and one is a spherical grip similar to the one on her steering wheel.
Alright, so those are just some of the items. So if you're interested in ordering any of those, let me know. If you do get some of those, we can start incorporating them in your sessions as well.
Great.
Very perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next thing I'd like to do is I'm going to have you show me your bathroom. Your husband and you are about to renovate, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's check it out, Jeanne. So we're going to look at your bathroom today and see what modifications we can make. Is this primarily the main bathroom you use in your home?
Right now I'm actually using the guest bathroom because it's a little bit easy for me to get around in, but once the house is renovated, this is going to be our master bathroom and the one that I use every day.
Okay, great. I know you and your husband are probably going to make modifications, more architectural in nature, so it'll be easier for you to use, but additional modifications we can do as well, we're going to talk about today, okay?
All right, great.
When opening up the shower curtain, it was revealed that Jeanne already had a mat on the bottom of her tub to prevent slipping. It was discussed that a permanent bench would be placed in the tub, but a sliding bench or folding shower bench was recommended for her special travel bag that was discussed earlier. This would make transferring in and out of the tub easier for Jeanne when she's on vacation. It was also discussed that as her MS progresses, her husband could help assist her in and out of the tub, or she could even utilize the sliding bench at home. A permanent hook for her home shower and waterproof command hook for her travel bag were recommended for her to place her long-handled sponge on. Jeanne already had a handheld shower head in her shower. It was recommended that an area would be made available to place the handle lower to make it more accessible for her. Having two shower heads and shower handles will make it easier for both Jeanne and her husband to use the shower.
Well, great. Well, thank you for showing me your bathroom. So that'll be a few little modifications we can start with since this is our first session. Down the line, we can talk about additional ones as well. So what I'd like to do is just finish up your session today with going over a few energy conservation techniques and safety tips as well, okay?
All right, great.
All right, let's go. Okay, Jeanne, I'm going to go over those energy conservation techniques with you.
Jeanne was first given energy conservation techniques to utilize when performing her ADLs. These techniques included utilization of adaptive equipment such as those previously discussed, allowing herself plenty of time to complete tasks, and breathing techniques. It was also discussed that when she and her husband began renovations of their kitchen, that it is accessible to her, so it requires less energy exertion while cooking. Having frequently used items on the counter or in an easily accessible cabinet will require less energy for her to exert while cooking. Jeanne's husband does most of the laundry, but she does help sometimes with removing clothing from the dryer to fold them. It was recommended that Jeanne take her time while doing this and utilize adaptive equipment to prevent a fall risk. Jeanne was introduced to the reacher, which was emphasized as one of the most important pieces of adaptive equipment that she could consider purchasing to have in her home. It was expressed that the reacher will assist with numerous tasks, preventing her from overexerting herself and from possibly experiencing a fall. Jeanne was educated on additional energy conservation techniques, such as planning ahead when anticipating tasks. It was advised to lay out clothing the night before to require less energy for dressing, as well as placing plates and utensils on the kitchen counter ahead of time to take a step away from meal prepping. It was also recommended that Jeanne lay out her makeup brushes and grooming utensils the night before so it takes less energy to get ready in the morning. Functional mobility concerns due to her two-story home were addressed. She expressed that her husband currently carries her up the stairs, but a wheelchair lift will be installed during renovations. Jeanne was advised to accomplish her most strenuous task at the beginning of the day in order to ensure she would have enough energy. The importance of improving her posture and overall strength was also explained to Jeanne. Improving these areas will help her with endurance when performing tasks. Lastly, Jeanne was educated on tips to determine how much energy she should exert on a task. 1. Why is the job necessary? 2. What purpose does this task have? 3. Where is the best place to perform this task? 4. How should the task be done? And 5. Can someone else perform this task?
So those are important things to think about. And all of this can be applied to when you're going out socializing with friends. How can you cut down on activities? Have your husband drive you when you guys are both going out together? When you're doing activities together when you travel? Try to think of how the best way to conserve your energy so you can enjoy those trips together. Especially when you're doing your blog too. Take breaks in between doing your blog.
Yeah, it's hard. You can kind of get into it, and sometimes you're typing for an hour or two and your back is sore and your arms are stiff, and it's good to remember to take a break.
Good, perfect. Well, I really enjoyed working with you today. Jeanne, do you have any questions for me before we go?
I don't think so, Sarah. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much, and I will see you for your session at the end of the week, okay?
I look forward to it.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.